Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedom and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country. In the courtrooms of America, Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedom.
Bias in the public school classroom. Would you be surprised that it occurs? Hi, I'm Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel. We're going to be talking to Mary Wiggin from Wisconsin. She's going to tell us a story about what happened in her ethics class and how her Christian worldview was made the brunt of discrimination in that class. So welcome to Faith and Freedom, Mary.
Thank you, Matt. It's really great to be here.
Tell us about your story. You went to a technical college called Moraine Park Technical College in Wisconsin, and you were part of an ethics class. And what happened? What ultimately caused the controversy?
Well, I took the ethics class to continue my education. I'm a licensed practical nurse. I'm continuing for RN, and this class is a required class. The very first day of class, there were only 9 in the class. It was a small class. The instructor explained what the definition of ethics was that we were to use in her class. And that definition was that ethics is what is fair and just and equitable for all. And we were going to learn to reason through that framework. She started off, her very first example was Todd Aiken from Missouri. She was very upset about his comments about rape and pregnancy. And that brought some discussion in the class. And I brought up the point of what he meant by a legitimate rape, and everyone in the class seemed to agree. The instructor wasn't happy about that and said it was unfair for a woman to carry a pregnancy to term when she was raped. And so using her framework, I said, well, if you're talking about what's fair and just and equitable for all, what about the child who's conceived through that rape? Where's the fairness for them and where's their voice? And she became very upset, and she said, well, that's just a zygote. And then she threw her hands up in the air and said, that's why this class makes my blood pressure rise. And there's 2 things I won't talk about in this class. One is abortion, and one is gun rights. And I was a little taken back because she brought the topic up, and she seemed upset that I brought that up. And that was sort of the beginning of the class.
So she brought up the issue of ethics, and the ethics is supposed to be fair and just.
She brought up every topic that we discussed.
And then she brought up Todd Aiken with regards to the abortion, the rape context statement. But when you talked about the child, what about fair and just resolutions with regards to the child in the form of ethics? She said that that's off limits. That that's one topic that she doesn't talk about in class.
Right. That
makes her blood boil. Mm-hmm. So what happened after that?
Well, then we went into her framework. She started, she mentioned to the class that she wanted the students to learn to question and not just slide into their beliefs. Basically said we can't use law, religion, medicine, science, any politics for our ethics. And I have to say that I don't completely disagree with her in that. You know, we do need to think through things. But when a person's like my worldview is a Christian worldview, so I do my ethical reasoning from that point of view, and she didn't think that was appropriate. She wouldn't allow me to do that.
So if you can't use law or religion or other kinds of suppositions, then what do you use for a basis for ethics? Where is her foundational framework from which she derives her ethics?
She gave us a whole list of framework that we were supposed to use. Basically, some of the things were, let me see.
Well, she gave you a list of other things, but obviously one of those is not religion. And so you can't use religion, you can't use law as a basis.
Right, we have to learn to think through what is fair and just and equitable for all.
So basically she's encouraging people to think and challenge their own presuppositions, except she won't challenge a presupposition with regards to abortion or gun rights. Those are 2 topics that are off limits for her. So she's actually being contradictory in what she's actually teaching the students.
Right, and that happened a lot in class. One of the examples she used was she wanted us to rethink things because people in the past have been wrong, and she used Christopher Columbus as an example. In 2 class periods, she mentioned that Christopher Columbus, after all, thought the world was flat. And the first time she said it, I didn't say anything, but then when she brought it up again, I said, well, that's really not true. He didn't believe that the world was flat. In fact, I said the Bible said the world was round, and every sailor knows that the world is not flat. And she said, well, bring me documentation. And so I did, and I gave it to her on a break because I didn't want to embarrass her in class. You know, she asked for documentation, and I found some from a nasa.gov site that she would think appropriate, and then she told me that she never said that.
So now there also came a point in time where she asked some of the students to send emails if they were offended by some of your comments. What happened after that?
Well, we were charged with, in our syllabus, with bringing new information to the class and having our information cited. We were charged with having empathy with others' viewpoints and listening respectfully to others' opposing viewpoints. Well, we talked for a 3-hour class. We spent 2 hours on same-sex attraction. And now this is a class that only ran 8 weeks for 3 hours. But she wanted to make sure that we all were comfortable with same-sex attraction. And so I brought up some information actually that I got from Liberty Counsel, several years ago from the American College of Pediatricians that talked about warnings about pushing the gay-straight alliance groups and pushing children who are impressionable and maybe have some sexual ambivalence. And just the dangers of the homosexual lifestyle. And I
can imagine she didn't like that, and she wasn't willing to question her own ideas.
She didn't like that.
Yeah.
Right.
So then she asked students if they were offended by some of your information to send her emails.
I'm sorry?
She asked students, I guess, who were offended by some of the information that you were bringing in.
She did.
To actually
she coached
respond.
them on how to write complaints about me, because in the handbook there's very specific criteria for complaining about someone. So she coached them on how to write it. And
she coached the students
everything.
on how to write a complaint against you for bringing up information that contradicted her presupposition on same-sex attractions. And so then they started responding with emails, right? Mm-hmm. And
right.
Did she post them?
She sent me one email with a very threatening letter that she was going to call security if I continued to express my viewpoints in class. So I was very intimidated after 4 classes. I was very intimidated, and for 2 classes I didn't say anything at all. And in one of the classes where I didn't speak, she said that she was talking about how we can't use religion for our ethical framework because Christians have been responsible for slavery in the United States. She also said that Christian missionaries enter tribal areas and force people to become Christians, and if they don't convert, they harm them. And she also said that religion has killed untold numbers of people, but have atheists ever killed anyone?
Yeah, amazing. I guess she forgot about the French Revolution there. That was, I guess, part of a history she didn't remember. Well, we're talking to Mary Wiggin, and she is a student at the Moraine Park Technical College, taking some additional course credits there, and she lives in Wisconsin. She was in a class. The class was very obviously hostile to your Christian worldview. But at the end of the day, though, this was resolved favorably by the administration in your favor. Isn't that right?
Well, we're still waiting for that resolution. I have a letter here. My husband and I met with 2 vice presidents, and after an investigation, this is what the vice president wrote. He said, "Records clearly show you have a stellar academic history and have been a positive contributor to class discussion and participation." And he goes on, but I still have not been offered the opportunity. I've been offered, but it hasn't been resolved. I have not met with an instructor to finish my course.
Well, Mary,
so right now I have an F on my transcript.
Well, Mary, we're going to continue to work with you. I know you've been working with Richard Mast here at Liberty Counsel, and he's going to continue to work with you to try to get that ultimately resolved. Thank you for your stance, and thank you for being a light in wherever God has planted you. And at this moment, it was in that class. And
well, I have to say that your attorney has been just wonderful in the advice and the help and encouragement.
Well,
when you're a student in a classroom and this is happening, you don't know where to go, and it's very intimidating.
Yeah. Well, we've been talking to Mary Wiggin. I'm Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel. This is one example of many people that Liberty Counsel helps across the country. We couldn't do it without your prayers or financial support. So go to Liberty Counsel's website, lc.org. Also visit our new website, libertycounsel.com, libertycounsel.com. It combines all of the resources of the Liberty Counsel enterprises. That's libertycounsel.com. And you can also ask for the book, Take Back America.
You have been listening to Faith and Freedom with Liberty Counsel. We hope that we have motivated you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedom. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email updates. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.